There's a new don't ask, don't tell policy being shopped around City Hall. Councilmember Nick Licata wants to bar Seattle police from inquiring into someone's immigration status. Since the September 2001 terrorist attacks, Licata says many illegal immigrants have feared being deported if they call the police to report crimes or even if they just sign up for various city services. Licata's legislation would allow questioning of immigration status only if there is reasonable suspicion that the person has committed a felony also. Why the fuss? Well, Licata says that immigration violations typically are handled by the federal government and should not be dealt with by local police who have enough concerns as it is. It has actually been the policy of the police department not to ask about immigration status unless there were other concerns. The purpose of Licata's ordinance is to codify that practice into law and to make it clear what the city's policy is. Some officers, though, say such a law will impair their ability to fight crime. The Monorail Board met this week, the first time since the election was certified. Their main item of business, formally accepting the plan approved by voters. Supporters showed up to urge such adoption. It was hardly necessary, but it does show their post-election enthusiasm. Monorail Director Joel Horn also announced that just over a month into the project, they are still on time and even under budget.
To start the Executive Director's report by letting people know that if we can open the Green Line on December 15th in 2007, remember we want to open the first segment in 2007, that'd be a Saturday, and it would be 1,826 days from today. That's 1,826 days from today, or 5 years from yesterday.
But who's counting, right? As is typical of late, there was some talk about City Light at City Hall this week. Heidi Wills introduced legislation to begin a risk management study. She was met with at least some skepticism from colleague Judy Nicasto, who wondered aloud about how all the City Light studies, audits, reviews, oversights, and committees are going to be connected and related.
We seem to be discussing a bunch of ways to better be educated and manage the utility, and I'm not clear on where they're all sort of heading to in this respect of here we are, this would hire a consultant to look at risk management. There's also been talk about the mayor setting up a task force, which people would be paid $500 to give us advice, to give him advice, to give us advice. I'm not clear on what that task force would do yet. That doesn't seem to be fully hashed out. And the third element is the council. We've discussed from the audit report an oversight committee, utility oversight body, and I don't know where that's at either. So I'm seeing a lot of sort of stuff going on, don't have the big picture.
And it's approximately $500,000, which represents less than 0.5% of Seattle City Light's budget. And I would say that those are dollars well spent, because the fact that we don't have adequate risk management policies in place means that we stand to lose much more dollars. And perhaps, and this came forward in the Vantage Consulting audit, if we had had robust risk management policies in place, you know, hindsight's 20/20, but looking back, would we have been as exposed to the market as we had? Would we be in debt to the extent that we are? So I think that these are dollars well spent as we're looking forward, particularly in the fact that we are cash strapped and we cannot afford any further debt.
But not before we talk about parking. A new city report offers recommendations about how Seattle can better manage parked cars. One pilot proposal to be launched shortly will include parking meters that accept credit cards. That one I love. No more mounds of change to lug around.